Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite pineapple schnapps, Gardiner, the Linux gamer. Pineapple schnapps sounds disgusting. This video is brought to you by my gracious Patreon contributors. My top tier Singularity members get special recognition at the beginning of each video, so thank you to Glenn Steen. Your support is truly humbling. Holy mother of God. We have seen the Librem 1 product launch, and there has been some pretty poisonous discourse over the launch of this product line, and I just wanted to weigh in and get sucker punched in the face by the cynicism of the keyboard critics out there, because there's nothing that I like more than internet nasty toxic comments. So leave them in the comments, boys. Now keep in mind, before I go into any of this, I am a paying customer of Purism, okay? I pre-ordered the Librem 5 phone. I have paid for a year of Librem 1 service. And so you can accuse me of bias if you want. Go for it. They are not paying me to make a video. I am friends with Bryant, but I haven't talked to him about any of this. So whatever, dudes. Listen, this is just my opinion. You can call me a shill if you want. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Seriously, though. I don't know if I've ever seen this level of toxicity from a small minority, right? There's a small minority, and not everybody who takes exception with some of the missteps and some of the issues that have plagued the launch of the Librem 1 services. Not everybody who has taken exception with that are toxic. I definitely don't think that that's the case. And if you have a legitimate gripe, and there are some that you can take with their service, that's fine. This video is not a critique of you, and I am not personally attacking anybody who has levied criticism against Purism. Okay, I just want to lay that out there. But by golly, it has been kind of exhausting to see this level of nastiness, and I wanted to put a smile on people's face and kind of laugh about it, because you know what, as a community, I think it's important that we can laugh at ourselves, right? So the first thing that people were complaining about was that there was a security vulnerability in the Librem login services. They addressed it really quickly within the first couple hours of the products being live, and good on them. That's what you're supposed to do when you have a vulnerability. They disclosed it as soon as possible. They logged everybody out that was already logged in so that they could move forward and get people set up and ready to go with secure accounts. Good on them. I really appreciate them doing that. And I didn't see too many people freaking out about that one. But I did see that there were some people who were pretty nasty about the trackers in the Librem chat app. So what happened was Google Firebase and two other tracking pieces of code were included in the upstream project Riot IM. Two of these were not caught before the launch of the service. Speaking to Jason Evangelo at Forbes, the chief security officer, Kyle Rankin, stated that quote, while we took efforts to disable tracking within code flags, a few days ago we discovered that even with that, it still had trackers in it. And it's true, they did have trackers. They have since removed all the trackers, and the app has now passed a privacy audit, which there'll be a link in the description for that. They're now working on in-house tools that will allow them to catch more of these things before they happen, before they go live. Now, there was a lot of people whose reaction were something along the lines of, "It's a conspiracy," or "They don't actually care about privacy, this is just woke marketing," or "We don't need more corporations in the free software world," or whatever else people were saying. It was pretty gross. Bro, corporations are how we get stuff done. I'm sorry. If we didn't have corporations, we probably wouldn't have the Linux kernel. That's a fact. I mean, we might have it in a minor capacity. Whoa, my TV just shut off. Cool. Anyway, corporations are how we get stuff done. Corporations help fund development of the Linux kernel. Corporations pay people to work full time on the Linux kernel. So don't say we don't need more corporations. We need more ethical corporations is what we need. And I think that Purism kind of hits that mark on the head. See, the thing is, they said in a blog post that did fork the Riot IM client, people noticed. I noticed as soon as I opened Librem chat. I was like, oh, this is a fork of Riot IM, and I was slightly disappointed by that, but I wasn't off-put by it, right? But the fact is, the upstream had these tracker codes in them, and the team at Purism tried to remove the Google Firebase code and couldn't because it had some unintended consequences, so they had to spend a little bit more time developing that. Now, should they have launched it with that code in there, even if it wasn't active, even if it was disabled by software? Well, I think that that's up to them to decide. Personally, I think they probably could have waited, but at the same time, I don't know. It's a tough call. But I can understand why they did what they did. I can understand the fact that they have forked these other projects, which we'll get to in a second, by the way. And I can understand people being upset by this because, we need to be able to trust Purism. And some people will see this as something that means they can't trust Purism. I think that mistakes are made all the time, and we need to be forgiving of mistakes as much as we can. But other people have said that this was like a conspiracy, or some people have said that this was like a conscious violation of the company's, corporate mission. That's hyperbole and a half, my friends. Take off the tinfoil hat and put on the gentleman's tinfoil fedora, please. Okay, when you have the tinfoil fedora on, you can be paranoid, but you can be a gentleman about it. That's how it goes. All right, the other problem that I wanted to talk about was the rebranding of existing software. Now, okay, this is where things got unhinged, and the internet cynicism became like backwards to a point I've never seen before. First, the fact that Purism forked a suite of applications and rebranded them all to work with their single service. It's not problematic to me. That's not problematic whatsoever. It's not a violation of the licenses that these, upstream projects were licensed under. It's not morally questionable, as I saw several people try to infer. Sorry, it's not morally questionable. So why did Purism fork these projects, right? Well, the CEO of the company, Todd Weaver, explained in a blog post, quote, "It's no secret to anyone familiar with free software on mobile that Librem 1 apps are based off of popular existing free software applications. Most people understand why we opted to use existing high-quality applications instead of reinventing the wheel by writing them from scratch. What may be less clear, however, is why we opted to release rebranded applications." He continues, "A major goal with Librem 1 was to provide people with convenient and easy-to-use alternatives to big tech services that respected their privacy. The key to this was the combination of decentralized services with a centralized brand. With decentralized services that use open standards and ran on free software, users aren't locked into any one provider and can even host services themselves. By putting services under a centralized brand, we make these decentralized services just as convenient as using the big tech alternatives. That way, our end user doesn't have to know what Matrix, ActivityPub, or even IMAP are, or to try and find all the applications that work with those services on their particular platform. Instead, they just need to know that they want to chat, join social media, and send email. And that's definitely true. I mean, you have one account that spans all of the services that they offer. That's a huge barrier removed from decentralized services. Like, if you want to join Mastodon, you have to know which server you want to join and then go do that. With this, you don't have to know to join Mastodon. You just have to join the Librem 1 services and you get a Librem account. You get a Librem 1 social account. And there you go. You're on the Fediverse, right? See, here's the deal. When it comes to like a normal person using an Android or an iOS device, it's almost unreasonable to expect someone who's accustomed to using, one of the babyfied devices to understand how to do like basic configurations of things, right? People expect to download the app and have it just work. Maybe set up, type in a username and password to create an account. But most of the time people are just like sign in with Google. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of unreasonable to expect that a normal person who wants privacy will even know how to find privacy online. They won't even be able to like figure out how to configure Riot IM. I've set up some of my friends' phones before with Nextcloud, right? I created an account for them on my server here, and I tell them download the app, and then in the URL field in the website field you have to type in cloud.heavyelement.io. That's too much for people. It's too much. People don't want. It's too much. And you know, you might be thinking, oh, well, I'm, you know, smarter and better than these people. Yeah, but if you want privacy comes down to the lowest common denominator, my friend. And even if you know how to protect yourself from, you know, privacy invasion, guess who doesn't? And if you're trying to communicate with people who don't know how to protect themselves, really, you don't have much privacy, do you? And the fact that they're trying to centralize their services so that it's easy for a normal person who's seeking, who only knows that they want privacy, you know what? I think that is the exact right tack to take on this. I also saw some people complain about the fact that they're selling free software. They're not selling free software. That's completely false. So it's totally free to get a Librem 1 account, first of all. You can get one, and you get access to the chat and the social apps. So what they're selling is an email account that's secure and a VPN service. And you know what? Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. They're not selling the free software client apps. It's absurd to think that that's what they're doing. And then a few other people have complained about the removal of timelines from Librem Social. And, you know, I actually complained about this in the podcast. I posted the podcast 2 days ago, and somebody sent me an email. I don't remember where somebody corrected me, but somebody, and I can't remember who, and I'm sorry if it was you, sent me a blog post from Purism, and they explained in great detail why they decided to remove the federated and local timelines from their Mastodon instance. And I think that it's kind of a compelling argument. So let me read some of that to you. Quote, every social network tends to have a timeline. The original idea behind a timeline makes sense. Aggregate all of the posts from people in your network and present them in a chronological view. Because so many social networks are funded by ads, however, this quickly changes into posts from your friends, as well as overt ads and promoted posts pushed to your feed. The ironic result is that your timeline ends up being full of things you don't want to see, dictated by a central authority instead of you. This problem is most prevalent with ad-funded proprietary social networks, but it also shows up in decentralized federated social networks like Mastodon. This is a side effect of what's otherwise a beneficial feature, local and federated timelines. The downside to local and federated timelines is that there is also a bunch of posts you aren't interested in from people you don't want to follow. You don't opt into that feed, so when it gets content that you particularly find offensive, distasteful, or not aligned with your views, there's little recourse unless your opinion of undesirable content happens to match those of the central moderators. There are plenty of social networks that are trying the traditional opt-out approach. We are trying something completely different at Librem Social, disabling timelines altogether. That way, you only see content that you have explicitly opted into, that's posts from people you follow. We're also working on additional features to give you even more control over how you view and filter content in a decentralized way, instead of relying on a central authority to dictate what you should and shouldn't see ending up in your feed. I mean, I think that's completely reasonable, right? I mean, opting in is generally considered to be more ethical than opting out, right? The one thing I wonder is they're talking about opting in. I don't see any settings to opt in. Maybe that's coming. Like if I wanted to enable the federated and local timelines in my account, how would I do that? I don't know if you can yet. I don't know if they'll ever let you be able to do that, but I don't know. But yeah. I just wanted to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that they handled this right? Do you think that the controversy is just a bunch of noise to signal? Like, tell me what you think down below. I really want to know what you guys think about this. But I think that's going to do it for now. If you believe in the work that I do, you can support this show with a monthly contribution over on Patreon, or you can pick up a t-shirt. There's a link in the description. But no matter what you do, whether you hit that like button or share this video with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to see more from me, the Linux Gamer. And as always, thanks for watching.